Hey guys, tonight we will take a gentle stroll through the daily rhythms of a Joseon Dynasty Korean village, a place where the sun dictates your schedule and the earth dictates your menu. Imagine waking to the distant crow of a rooster, the faint smell of wood smoke already curling from your neighbor's chimney. The air is cool, perhaps a little damp, and the silence is so profound it almost hums. No buzzing phones, no traffic, just the rustle of leaves and the occasional chirp. A reality check though, you probably wouldn't survive this lifestyle for a week without modern conveniences. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Let me know where you're winding down tonight and what time it is for you in the comments below. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's relax and begin tonight's journey together. You awaken on a woven straw mat, the pale morning light filtering through the paper-covered windows of your modest Hanok style home. The warmth from the time's ondol times underfloor heating, a common historical fact, has mostly dissipated, leaving a slight chill in the air. Stretching out those tired muscles, you recall the dream you were just having, perhaps of a particularly stubborn ox or an unusually plump turnip. Your first task is often to fetch water from the communal well, the wooden bucket surprisingly heavy as you trudge through the dew-kissed path. Historians still debate whether the morning gossip sessions at the well were more efficient than actual town criers for spreading news. You might notice your reflection, albeit blurry, in the well water, a face without the stress lines of modern life, but certainly with the telltale signs of manual labor. It's a peaceful start, save for the occasional grumble of your stomach. Back at your humble abode, the scent of boiling grains begins to fill the air. Breakfast is a simple affair. Usually rice, often millet or barley if rice is scarce, served with a few humble side dishes like fermented vegetables or a bit of dried fish. You sit cross-legged on the floor with your family, the morning quiet punctuated only by the clinking of spoons against ceramic bowls. It's a common historical fact that meals were often eaten communally, reinforcing family bonds and hierarchy, with elders served first. You might think, is this it? No avocado toast? And chuckle to yourself, remembering your modern luxuries. A quirky little known fact is that many Joseon homes had a small, private jangdeokdae terrace for fermenting kimchi and other sauces, an essential part of daily life and culinary magic, carefully tended by the women of the household. Historians still debate the exact recipes for some of these ancient ferments, lost to time and taste buds. After the meal, it's time for the day's chores, preparing for the serious work ahead. The sun is higher now, casting longer shadows as you make your way to the fields. For most villagers, this is where the bulk of the day is spent. You join your family in tending the rice paddies or dry fields, depending on the season and the village's location. The feel of the damp earth beneath your bare feet is a sensation both grounding and utterly exhausting. Planting seedlings, weeding, or harvesting, it's all back-breaking work under the watchful eye of the Sunday. A common historical fact is that agriculture was the backbone of Joseon society, with rice being the primary crop and currency. You might even find yourself humming a repetitive ancient farming song, perhaps not because you like it, but because it helps pass the time. A quirky fact, farmers often use the stars, specifically the Big Dipper, to determine planting times, a sort of celestial calendar that made smartphone apps seem utterly superfluous. Historians still debate the precise agricultural innovations that led to Joseon's population growth. Remember, no tractors here, just sheer willpower and community effort. As you straighten up, wiping sweat from your brow, you might exchange a few words with a neighbor working nearby. Village life in Joseon, Korea was incredibly communal, a common historical fact, with everyone knowing everyone else's business for better or worse. You depend on each other for help, for support, and yes, for a bit of good-natured ribbing. Still haven't found a wife, eh? Your name? A neighbor might jibe, making you blush. A quirky piece of information is that villagers often had specific communal duties, like maintaining the irrigation ditches or contributing labor for public works, fostering a strong sense of shared responsibility. Historians still debate the extent to which these village structures fostered true social mobility or merely reinforced existing hierarchies. There's no escaping your role here. Your identity is intricately woven into the fabric of the community, like a perfectly mended quilt. Later in the day, perhaps during a brief respite from the fields, you might engage in other essential village activities. For some, this means weaving cloth on a simple loom, the rhythmic click-clack, a constant backdrop to daily life. For others, it's crafting pottery, shaping the clay with practiced hands. A common historical fact is that many villages specialized in certain crafts, which they would trade at periodic local markets. Imagine lugging your surplus grain or a freshly woven bolt of fabric to the market, the bustling crowd and vibrant chatter a welcome change from the quiet fields. You'd haggle over prices, perhaps for a new pair of straw shoes or a metal tool. A quirky tidbit. Joseon markets were not just for goods, but also for news, entertainment, and even finding a matchmaker, a much more social experience than your online shopping. Historians still debate the economic impact of these regional markets on the broader Joseon economy. It's a lively, if occasionally bewildering, sensory overload. As the sun begins its slow descent, children in the village might gather for their lessons. Education, even if rudimentary, was valued, especially for boys from more affluent families. They would sit in a Times Seodang asterisk, a village school, meticulously copying classical Chinese texts, a common historical fact. You might hear their chanting voices drifting across the fields, a melodic drone. A quirky fact is that paper, made from mulberry bark, was not only used for writing, but also for windows, floor covering, and even clothes due to its durability. While the youngsters are busy with their studies, adults might find quieter forms of leisure, perhaps a game of Times Jonggi, Times Korean chess, or simply sharing stories and local legends around a communal fire, a much more analog form of entertainment than your streaming services. Historians still debate the true literacy rates among commoners during this period. Life moves at a different pace here, a gentle winding down. The aroma of dinner cooking signals the day's end. Back in your home, the times bap times, rice is steaming, and a new array of times, banchan times, are prepared, perhaps a hearty stew or some freshly picked greens. It's a common historical fact that evening meals were often the most substantial, a chance to refuel after a day of hard labor. You gather again with your family, the conversation's softer now, reflecting on the day's successes and struggles. Maybe you share a laugh over a neighbor's latest escapade or discuss the impending harvest. A quirky fact. Families often ate directly from communal dishes placed in the center of the table, fostering the sense of togetherness and equal sharing. Historians still debate the subtle social etiquette that governed mealtime interactions within different social classes. The hearth, glowing with embers, becomes the heart of the home, a warm beacon against the encroaching twilight. As the last embers glow and the stars begin to pepper the inky sky, you prepare for sleep. There's a ritual to it, tidying the mats, perhaps a final sip of barley tea. The sounds of the village slowly fade, the distant bark of a dog, the chirping of crickets, the gentle rustle of the wind through the eaves. It's a common historical fact that people in Joseon, Korea, especially in rural areas, rose and slept with the sun, their lives dictated by natural rhythms. You lie down on your mat, pulling a simple quilt over you. No screens, no late-night notifications, just the vast quiet. A quirky piece of information is that dreams were often seen as omens or messages from the spirit world, and people would often recount them in the morning for interpretation. Historians still debate the spiritual significance of daily rituals in peasant life. You drift off, the day's labor having earned you a deep, dreamless slumber, preparing for the inevitable cycle of tomorrow. As the quiet darkness envelops you, imagine the gentle whispers of the past fading into the stillness of the night. The rhythms of Joseon life, once so immediate and real, now soften into a tranquil memory. Let your mind drift from the earthy fields and the simple meals, from the communal laughter and the quiet labors, allowing these images to become mere wisps of thought, ethereal and distant. Feel yourself gently letting go of the day's story, just as the villagers would have released their daily toils into the restorative embrace of sleep. Allow any lingering thoughts to simply float away like leaves on a slow-moving stream, carrying you deeper into a peaceful calm. You are safe, warm, and utterly at ease, ready for your own gentle rest. Sweet dreams.